Hey, this is Walt from StogieReview.com, here with another short ashes video cigar review. And this time I'm going to review a cigar I did earlier this year, but it was a cigar that I wasn't really fond of. And well, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to grit my teeth and see how this new size is. The cigar is actually a new size, and that is the ORTSAC 1962 Castro spelled backwards. And I had mentioned in that review that although it wasn't a bad cigar, it was just really monotonous. I seemed to be smoking it for hours. The flavor profile just didn't seem to change. I was getting very bored. And I had made mention that it'd be really nice to have maybe a Corona size in that particular cigar. And the only thing that was available was a Toro. Well, I got word from Victor Vitale that there was a Robusto coming out. He sent me a couple of Robustos, and to see if I liked it more in a smaller format. So we're going to give it a shot. Basic information, you can check out the original review for more in-depth information. Basically, this is a Robusto. I'm guessing 50 by 5. Nicaraguan Corojo wrapper, Dominican binder, Dominican Nicaraguan filler. The origin is Dominican Republic, and the price point I'm not quite sure of. The Toro was about $5.99 per single, so I would guess about $5 a stick for the Robusto. So let's get down to it. Just looking it over real quick, not seeing any visual defects, no nicks, chips, cracks, any of that stuff. So in that sense, it appears to be a very solid cigar. The cap is a little sloppy, but really not a whole lot to complain about. It doesn't look like it's going to peel off or anything like that and result in a cigar that becomes unwound or unwinds. And these cigars only have a foot band, which comes off relatively easily. It's got a very light sheen to it, I guess is the best way to put it. It's kind of matte, a little on the dull side. And I'm not getting much in terms of pre-light flavor. You know, I was sort of handling the cigar a little bit before I turned the camera on, and I started pinching it just like I am now, and you know, it feels really firm, like it's really jam-packed with tobacco. I mean, in a sense, it's great because you're getting your money's worth, but I'm just really dreading a stiff draw and a cigar that's going to last forever, or is going to feel like it's going to smoke forever. So here's to hoping that that the draw is pretty good. I know it's not a good sign when I'm thinking poorly of a cigar before I even light it, but the flavor profile was just really boring in that long format, so I'm hoping that this one is better. Again, nice and firm, no soft or hard spots. It's uniform top to bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead, get the cigar opened up, and see how it goes. Actually feels a little bit bigger than a 50. I'm not quite sure. Draw's got a little resistance to it, but it's much better than I anticipated. So let's go ahead and get this thing underway. So you may be wondering, you know, what's going on with you know, the reviews. We haven't seen a full-blown review in a little while. Well, time has just been really tight. Things have been relatively hectic. A lot of things going on that need taken care of in the personal life. So I haven't been able to find the time to sit down and take that 4 hours or whatever it takes to do a review front to back, which basically means recording it, transferring notes into a written article if that hasn't been done already, editing, encoding, uploading, waiting for the file to transfer or to convert. And you know, usually it's a long process that I generally stretch out over a couple of days, but just the way things have been working out lately, time's been you know, tough to come by. So I'm giving you what I can in the form of short ashes review, as well as the product review from yesterday, or Saturday or Friday, or whatever, however it works out that this gets posted. So Cigar's lit. Getting a good volume of smoke. Body is very light, soft. It's got a dry texture to it. But all in all, the cigar's lit. That introduction part is taken care of. So sit tight, I'll be back. We'll take a look at the first third of my ORTSAC 1962 Robusto, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, well, I'm back and just about through the first third of my ORTSAC 1962 Robusto. And I actually just ashed the cigar a couple of minutes ago. The ash was nice and long. It had a really nice compacted shape to it. Light in color. Pretty firm and strong overall. The burn line's a little wavy now. However, I expect that to clear up as the ash begins to develop and insulate the burn a little bit more. Because up until that point, the cigar was burning nice and straight. The burn line was nice and thin. It produces a thick, abundant amount of smoke. Very easy to get through the sinuses. Fairly soft across the palate. It's relatively mild in body. I'd say it's mild to medium. Probably leans a little bit more toward medium, or leans a little bit more towards mild than medium. But the flavor, just like the first one, is incredibly consistent. From the very start, I was getting just a woody flavor, just some tobacco taste, and that was really it. There wasn't any. There really are no frills to the flavor profile. It's very consistent. It's sort of subdued. It's very straightforward, and the cigar has been very straightforward from the start. In terms of burning characteristics and all that, the cigar just does very well. It's a cigar that's constructed well. It burns great, but just in the flavor department, it is just very monotonous. At least to me, it seems very monotonous. And even though the cigar is shorter, it's burning faster than I remember the first samples burning. It's still kind of boring, and so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll see some change up in flavors, but I really don't expect it. From my first experience with the ORTSAC 1962, everything was very straightforward. There were no twists and turns in the flavor profile. Very consistent, one-dimensional cigar, and I'm expecting much the same from this stick. However, with the size being a little different, it's possible that things could change up, but I really expect this to be the same, you know, very consistent, sort of straight line cigar, and I really don't expect to see any changes. Alright, well, I'm back. I had a little bit of a streaming glitch at the end of that last clip, but it's about time to wrap up the ORTSAC 1962. You're probably wondering, you know, where did the second third go? I just didn't record it, and the reason being is just, there was just nothing new going on. I figured it was just easier to skip the second third, go into the final third, rather than tell you a bunch of stuff that I already did in the first third, because there is no change. In the flavor department, it's still sort of a natural tobacco taste with some woody tones. And while it's interesting here and there, it's just not interesting enough to hold my attention from start to finish. The body is mild to medium, probably leans a little bit more toward mild. The texture across the palate is soft. It's a little dry. It's not offensive. It's easy to pass the smoke through the sinuses and not get any burning sensations or anything like that. It's easy to smoke. It's pretty straightforward and simple, and I think that's where it's losing me. It's just too plain. I'm more interested in a little bit more of a dynamic flavor, something that changes up from here, you know, from time to time. In this case, the cigar is just very straightforward. Now, everyone has a flavor profile that is their preference. I know guys that go to my local cigar shop, and practically every week, every time I see them, they're buying the same thing. If they're not buying the same cigar, they're buying from a pool of about 3 different cigars that they rotate through. Every week they're buying these cigars, and the reason they're buying them is because they're consistent. they don't like that change throughout the cigar. They want to know what they're getting, and they want to know what they're getting all the way through the cigar, and that's their thing. This cigar would be their thing. It's not for me. It's just not, there's not enough flavor variation to hold my interest, and that's, I guess, where the issue comes in at. As far as the construction of the cigar and burning characteristics, it's top notch. It burns very well, provides tons of smoke. It's nice and thick. Just in a construction and burn standpoint, I mean, this is an exceptional cigar. It just loses me when it comes to flavor. So there's really not a whole lot to add to it. I mean, it is what it is. It's just a really quick overview. It's mild to medium bodied, smooth finish, some woody tones in the flavor, natural tobacco taste is the primary component, and that's what you get start to finish. So this short ashes really is going to be shorts, because that's where I'm going to leave you. Not quite sure what's coming up in the future. Hopefully I'll get back into my normal routine of doing the long reviews on Fridays. Just time's been getting away from me lately, and hopefully I'll be able to get things, you know, back under control, and you'll be seeing a full 30-minute video of me next week. So happy smoking, and I'll catch you later.